Villa units get a bad reputation because investors lump them in with high-rise apartments or boutique unit villa apartments. They're not the same asset. And in Frankston right now, a well-selected villa unit is one of the most interesting play between that 600 to 700k price point. But where you buy one matters more than the number on the listing. And today, that's exactly what I want to show you. What a villa unit actually is, run the Frankston data, and honestly answer one question. Is this one type of the asset worth it? Here's what I'm going to do. First, what a villa unit actually is and why it behaves so differently to a high-rise apartment or even a low-rise apartment in terms of yield, renovation potential, and who you're selling to on your exit. Then with Frankston Hub, a specific case on the data on yields, growth, and tenant demand, and the one and only number underneath it that changes the whole picture. And of course, I'll finish with a specific property profile I'd be targeting right now and the suburbs I've actually focused on, and the one thing that separates a villa unit worth buying from one that simply isn't. And as always, let's get into it. A high-rise apartment is a strata product with almost no land underneath it, a body corp that can run into the thousands a year, and a buyer pool on exit that is overwhelmingly other investors. A villa unit is a 2 to 6 dwelling on a block. It still has its own entrance and a courtyard and a genuine small land component, and critically attract an owner-occupier buyer when you sell. That owner-occupier exit pool is a whole distinction. It's a difference between an asset that only investors want and an asset that simply behaves like a small home. So let me show you the numbers. Frankston units grew 7.11% over the year, one of the suburb's strongest unit readings in recent years. Your gross yield sits at 4.48% above a hold cost threshold and well ahead of Frankston house yields, which traditionally hover at 3.5 to 3.6%. Medium unit rent is around $4.90 a week, and units moving in around about 21 days. The income case is real here, but here's the catch. Frankston unit market runs a building approval ratio of 2.71%, by far the highest of the three suburbs I looked at. Roughly 190 units in the upcoming pipeline. And that sits on top of an already investor heavy led market with an ERSAD score of 4, renter owner occ of about 40%. So here's the thing that most people are getting wrong. That 4.68% unit yield looks like the standout, but it's high specifically because the buyer pool is investor heavy. High yield, high renter ratio, and heavy new supply together isn't a buying signal. They are a profile of a market that keeps discounting to clear the stock that is simply coming in. Which is why honestly this video needs to end up somewhere other than where its own title suggests. The specific profile I'd be targeting right now is simply not in Frankston at all. It's a 2 to 6 unit villa complex in either Frankston South or Mornington, exactly to where I'm standing right now. ERSAD scores of 9 and 7 respectively against Frankston at 4. The unit markets at trades and owner occupied much more like a housing stock. Around them has a renter owner occupied ratio of 21% versus Frankston at 39%. In Frankston South, units are typically 770,000 against a house price of 1.2 and upwards, a 42% discount on a renter to owner occupier ratio of just 16%, with the same socio score of 9 as the houses around them. Let's shift down south into Mornington units, sitting at 750 circa against a house price of 1.3 mil, a 40% discount, a rent owner occ at 21%. In both of these unit markets, it's a genuine discount entry in the same buyer pool as homes. This is where it gets exciting. Here's a test that actually works. Don't ask what a suburbs unit yield is on its own. You've got to ask how close the unit market socio-demographic ERSAD score and its renter ratio sits to its own house market. In Frankston South and Mornington, these two figures are identical between the house and the unit, which means the unit market is simply a cheaper entry point into the same buyer pool that has the homes around it. In the Frankston, the unit market carries the same profile volatile as its house market too. The shared profile is a lower socio score of 4 and a greater rental ratio of almost 40%. The whole suburb houses skews a lot more towards investors and rental. You layer that on top of Frankston's 2.7 buildings approval ratio against Frankston South and Mornington's effectively 0, and the picture is complete. Your Frankston Villa unit case is fighting its own supply pipeline. Frankston South and Mornington is simply not. Take a look at the street that we're in, Alexander Avenue, Mornington. Unit 2/13, a 2-bed, 1-bath, 1-car garage, sold in July of 26 at 675, when standalone houses right in that street sells for $1 million plus. It's a tightly held pocket, moments from Main Street, short stroll to Fisherman's Beach, parkland straight across the road. It's a light field floor plan. Your kitchen flows into living and dining. It has a beautiful private courtyard out the back for your morning coffees or your weekend family barbecues. It's low maintenance, walk to everything. It works for a downsizer, a first home buyer, or simply an investor. Think of it, it's the same blue chip Mornington setup that we keep coming back to. You're positioning and doing the heavy lifting on location, on street, and this is where it works. It's owner-occupier density that we are validating for the villa unit appeal. I get asked constantly, what's this one thing people get wrong when buying a villa unit in the pockets of Frankston? Simply buying on the yield number without checking why the yield is that high. A high yield sitting on top of a thin owner-occupier exit pool is simply not a discount bargain cheap buy. It's a warning that you may be buying into a market that only ever sells to other investors. So the profile I'd be searching for right now. And number 1, original condition stock on a block with its own courtyard. Not a shared driveway apartment block in a complex small enough that owner-occupiers still make up a real share of who's buying there. How do you check that? Check for the owner's corp details, if there is one. And in Frankston South or Mornington, not Frankston. Just like the one that I'm sitting right behind me on 17 Naples Street in Mornington. Sold back in March of 2026 for $706, presenting a 2-bed, 1-bath, tucked in a boutique 3-unit complex. This one's about privacy. Your gardens on every window, north-facing courtyard, pebbled terrace, a golden college, almost award-winning landscape out back. Feels more like a college than a strata title. It's a walk to Fisherman's Beach, Wilson's Reserve around the corner. Wilson's Road shops, bakery, wine bar, gelato, all on foot. Same story as the others. Tight position, real lifestyle, and still $500,000 under Mornington's house median. Let me be straight up with you because that is simply the point of these videos. Frankston earned its place in this corridor for houses. For villa units, specifically Frankston South and Mornington are simply the better arguments, and I'd rather tell you that than honestly force a purchase into Frankston to fit the suburb rather than the title that was built around it using 2 key examples. 1B, Tasma Lane, Mornington, 2-bed, 1-bath, 2-car, villa unit, freestanding, single story, white court, sold in Feb of 2026 at $875. Original listing said steps from Cove Beach, and this is the exact phrase. It's ready for a modern makeover. That's the agent speaking for exactly what we want. Good bones, unbeatable position, dated finish. Sand in a couple of minutes, straight across the road, coastal track around the corner, walk or bus to Main Street. Downsizer's dream, and a first home buyer can just stretch for what it is worth. Now guess what? 8 Tasma Lane, 4-bed, 2-bath on 640 square meter home, standalone, sold in Jan for just over 2.2. Picture the owner-occupier downsizing from this and where the next home would be. This is the opportunistic play right here in the heart of Mornington. Frankston South and Mornington sit right here next to each other on the peninsula, and the two are often talked about in the same breath. The price disparity between the houses and the unit tells a very different story. On Catality's most recent data, Frankston South has a medium house value sits at 1.2 mil against a medium unit value of $793,000. That's a gap of roughly $460K. Now take Mornington. Mornington's median house value sits at 1.2 mil against a median unit of $830K and a gap of circa around 330k. So despite Frankston South having a higher house price of the two suburbs, its units are actually cheaper than Mornington's. But put another way, a unit in Mornington would cost you about 72 cents in the house dollar. In Frankston South, it's closer to 63 cents. The discount for buying a unit over a house is structurally wider in Frankston South. Also, the growth data adds another layer. Over the past 5 years, Frankston houses are up by 17.32%, well ahead of Mornington houses at 3.12%. Units have moved the other way. Mornington units are up 12.25% over 5 years against 9.43% for Frankston South units. When you combine this together, this says something quite specific. Frankston South growth story has carried by land and house stock, driven by executive buyers and a run of premium sales. Mornington's growth has been carried more by units likely to walkable, lifestyle-rich stock, close to the water, absorbing demand from downsizers and first-home owners who simply can't or won't stretch to house prices. For value-add play specifically, the wider house-to-unit gap in Frankston South is a more interesting number on paper, but Mornington's stronger, more consistent unit growth is suggesting a deeper and steadier owner-occupier demand for exactly the kind of renovated, walk-to-the-beach home product we've been building these series around. Now property number 2, 1/3 Kuranga Port in Mornington. 2-bed, 2-bar, 1-car garage, sold for $885 in June of 2026. Same play, different pocket, just off the Esplanade, Main Strip, Schnapper Point Park, the Yacht Club, all on foot. Same pattern, tight, walkable, lifestyle galore. Untouched for years and still well under a house price for the same postcode. So here's the play in 3 steps. Number 1, you're buying on position, not presentation. Target the unit that looks shit on photos. That's where the discount lives. You're underwriting the bones and the outlook, not the 1990s kitchen. Number 2, renovate for owner-occupier appeal, not yield. Kitchen, bathroom, flooring, light, not a granny flat. You're chasing the buyer who walks to the beach on a Sunday or on a weekday afternoon, not a rental. Number 3, hold it or set it into real owner-occupier demand. Live in it and you've bought a house with a lifestyle and a house deposits discount to an actual house. Or simply flip it and you're selling to the same 2 buyers, first home buyers and downsizers fighting over a shrinking pool of finished, well-positioned Melbourne villa units with the beach at their footsteps. So if you want to know whether a specific Melbourne villa unit passes the Insight 2 framework, the exit pool, the supply pipeline, the renovation brief, that's exactly what I do day in, day out. The link is in the description. I'll let you guys press that subscribe button if this was useful. And of course, I'll see you on the next one when we go for a chilly cold ice bath in the peninsula.